stepping outside of the box to support people in the perinatal realm, and by that I mean pregnant and postpartum, childbearing years, these sorts of things. So they're the ones who help drive this. And there are people who have done this in the past, there are people that are doing this now, and in the future, we're all part of one collective that really wants to see parents having more support in the postpartum. So the reason why I'm doing this is Connie recruited me and she asked, can you help me help get this word out? Why don't people know about the body changes that we go through in the postpartum? Why didn't anybody tell me? That's the biggest thing, right? And so there are a lot of things they don't tell us as women. You know, how do you do Kegels? How often are you supposed to pee? How long is a pee? I talk about this like so easily. Sorry, this is making you uncomfortable. Hang with me, y'all. Hemorrhoids, I'll talk about them all day. So, anyway, my daughters are here and they're probably not really embarrassed. They're like, no, that's mom. Yeah. And I do want to acknowledge Lily, who's almost 18, and Rose, my other daughter, who is almost 15, because that matters, almost. It's not just 14, I'm almost 15. Okay, cool. We're good then, girls. Okay, so that's the thing, Women's Health PT. I've been a PT for 20 years, but it's when I became pregnant and when I had my first baby almost 18 years ago, that I decided that I can help women. I can switch my career a bit so that I can become a doula. I can become a childbirth educator and help people through the transformation of birth. Not because I felt like an expert. Oh, hell no. In postpartum, raise your hand if you felt like an expert? Oh, no, right? I don't know what kind of PhD you might even think you have. You know, if you're writing books, whatever. Nobody's an expert in postpartum. You're an expert in humility if you have the guts to just come to the coming to God moment that you have, like, I am not together, I don't know who I am, what has happened to me, and what have I done with my life. So it is there that we meet. This is the gap in care, because the expectation here is that we just want to have a baby, and won't it be nice, you're going to have a baby. And, you know, people have all kinds of opinions, you know, but we got to get this out. And it's freaky, and we don't attend other people's births anymore, right? So it's fear, because every movie is the same. It starts with the water breaking out of the blue, 100%, right? The car has to race in traffic to the hospital. Then she's in a hospital gown, sweaty, pushing, you've done this to me, there's yelling, you know? Totally not true, but, you know, I have to say, after I had my girl, I became a doula because Penny Simpkin, she's always telling people what they should be doing, how can you be a little bit better. And Penny Simpkin is a childbirth educator, doula, author, internationally known throughout the microphone. She is excellent. Anyway, but what I have to say is that she said, you know, you really can't be a good childbirth educator unless you're a doula. I have to do another thing. Okay, don't be a doula. So I attended women as they birth at the portal, the hard stuff, right? The transformational stuff. There are no guarantees at the portal, right? There's fear going into it. So having observed women, I wasn't scared of birth anymore after I went to many births. I wasn't scared anymore. In fact, I saw the different ways to birth in a birth center, the midwifery model, and then at a hospital, medical model, how they manage things differently. Sure, it depended on the practitioner. The facility made a big difference, right? And I do want to say that I just went to a conference where an OB was saying, you know, in terms of risk factors in birthing, the facility is the risk factor. Where we choose to birth makes a difference. Whew, that was a big deal. To have an OB say that to all of us. Like, yes. So I want to acknowledge Tina Chicala's here. Stand up, Tina. Who owns Center for Birth? This beautiful woman, right here. I remember her when I started out years ago, 18 years ago, something like this. She was on the board of a childbirth education, doesn't even have the same name anymore, the association. She's like, I'm going to help birth. I'm going to open a birth center in Seattle. And she opened up Center for Birth. I remember an email you sent out said, I'm going to be out of touch for about 2 years, dealing with all of the red tape. Send me a Starbucks card every once in a while. So I did. Don't talk to me because I don't have time. And she did this, making women's and families' dreams come true in the sense of that we have options, right? So we thank you, Tina, for being here, taking the time to be here with us. So, birthing, messy, hard, transformational, hero's journey, all of those things, right? It's not acknowledged, it's not held in our culture to be those things, but it's all of those things. And so when we're on the other side of birth, even just on the other side of birth, we're windblown, and we're crazed, and we're holding our baby. They're like, how much does the baby weigh? Who cares? I'm a birthing fucking goddess. Can you not see this? I'm beat up, I'm messy, I'm bloody, I'm whatever. This. Oh, the baby's so beautiful. Is she a good baby? These fucking questions that you're asking me, they're absurd. Do not see me. And we fade, and we fade. We're this open, expanded person after birthing, eh? Energy field, toxic people, can't tolerate, whoa, he looks like his father. Oh, what about me who carried him for 9 months, right? What about the acknowledgement to me? Oh, wow, always talking about the baby. Baby, are you sleeping? Dumbest question ever. Postpartum. Note to self, never ask that. It's one of those things where we start disappearing. We start disappearing in the postpartum. And we have, in the hospital model, we have a 6-week appointment, and we go to it, and they give us a checkout, usually pelvic floor, check out and say, all right, you're fine. Go ahead, green light to do everything. You know, green light to start running again. Can you start running? Sure, green light, whatever you want to do. Go for it. You're healed. Cesarean might be 8 weeks. Okay. Again, midwifery model, a little bit longer time. A little bit longer time. Home visits. At 2 weeks, I don't really remember. Like 3 days, 2 weeks. Come on, help me, midwives.
1 day, 3 days, and clinic at 10 days, and 3 weeks, and 6 weeks.
Okay. So, a lot more than the medical model. So, a little bit more care, a little bit more in the home. The mother shouldn't be traveling. The mother-baby unit shouldn't be traveling, right? She and they are recovering. They should be in their nest. Their pelvic floor should be recovering. Their uterus needs to be up. Here, she needs to be horizontal for a good week to help that uterus float in the pelvic bowl again. So, as you know, I'm a pelvic floor physical therapist or specialist, abdominals, perinatal. That's who I work with. People in the childbearing years, beyond. So that, when midwives say, stay in bed for a week, allow your pelvic organs to involute, to heal, that's exactly what we should be doing. In the medical model, we have to go somewhere to appointments. Probably not a whole lot, but, them coming to you, checking on you, doing well. So, I know it sounds like I'm promoting the midwifery model, and I am. Because it's better for normal birth. And low-risk women, especially for subsequent births. easy choice when you want to mitigate risk of intervention and decrease that. So that's what I have to say about that. Pelvic region. We need time to heal. We need to know that things might happen. You know, we need to know that the uterus can move downward a little bit. We need to know that the bladder might move into the space of the vaginal canal. We need to know that maybe the rectum will push into the vaginal canal. A lot of us have, what? We've never heard of this. 50% of women have some sort of prolapse. It's called a prolapse, when those pelvic organs move into a space that they're not supposed to move into. Okay? So not all of us are symptomatic, and that's cool, that's great. I realized that I had a cystocele, which is a bladder pushing into the vaginal canal, when I did the pelvic floor training. Fun, because this is probably why there's so few pelvic floor physical therapists, is because we have to go to a class, then take off our pants, get onto the table, and glove up, and yeah. That's what I do for you people. Advanced training. It's not that bad. It's good. And I mean in the most respectful way. No. So we can pass it on to you too, so we can help. But what I'm saying is that probably turns off a lot of people. Like, no, we're good. We'll see with orthopedic PT. But the point is that we have some rehab to do post-birth. And it's ridiculous for us not to know it ahead of time. I see Marta over here. I remember when she came to a workshop that I did, and she's freaking pissed, red hot fire pissed, right? Am I right? Still am. Nobody told me. So mad, you know? And that's what I'm here to say. This is why we're trying to gather you. Because the dominant model is not teaching us. So we have to gather like this and say, hey, I see you. Yes, sometimes you have some pelvic floor heaviness. Yes, sometimes you're peeing yourself, or you're peeing yourself all the time. And the model that we've inherited, that our parents lived in, said that's normal. That's normal. And now we've got degrees. And I say, oh no, it's not normal. It may be common, but it's not normal. And they're muscles. We can strengthen muscles, right? We can stretch muscles. We can do things for these things. So we just have to learn. We just have to know, oh, it's a thing. And who do you hear this from? Your sisters, the other people in the community. That's usually where we learn this from. So it's important that we talk. But what about this? We can't talk about that. So claiming what is ours, it becomes a bigger revolution, doesn't it? Like when we talk about fending the future, when we talk about wearing pink hats, reflecting of the pink on the inside, not the pink of the skin, that we're a force, we're a collective force. And I will tell you that it's been interesting as a pelvic floor PT, seeing that some women don't want to look down here, they want to see. And I'm not talking about right after birth. Yeah, I know. That's up to you. But what I'm saying is, 50% of our culture is really interested in seeing all that. And it's not us. Where are we in the equation? This is ours, right? So I'm not telling you to lecture any values or ethics. I'm just saying, like, let's talk about this. We're raising kids here. We get to use the real words. You know? Or are we going to say the JJ? Honey, that's your vacation. And you do you. But all I'm saying is you have an opportunity for people, your children, the next generation, to have ownership of their body. But first, it starts with us. We've got some healing to do on this. So that's why I do what I do in pelvic floor PT, to because I feel like not everyone has to come to me one-on-one. I created a pelvic floor self-assessment. It's on my table. It's not promoting at all. I'm just saying, if you want to assess your own pelvic floor, I wrote that for you. Check it out. And the workshops, they're more of a collective. I have some like preparing your pelvic floor for childbirth to help people understand the anatomy, physiology, function. How do we make this work for childbirth? The recovery period for pelvic floor as well. Do I have a diastasis, like an opening in the abdominals? That's important to attend to too. A lot of us didn't know about that. And in the medical model, we don't get checked. The midwifery model, they're speeding up to us. That's good, good. What else? I feel like, and then the healers in the room, the people who have tables, the people who want to help. I have a workshop called Healing the Healers, and the reason I have that is because I do very intimate work with women. Meaning we're one-on-one. Not only are we working with the physical, we have a moment to process a birth, process trauma. Survivors have stories to tell. Their bodies tell me, and I help them process it. We have to release that a lot of times, and I work to help them release, which is what we're going to move into in a moment. Having all of us try and think about what we need to release. And the point is, our experiences in our body can be charged emotion. It creates the way we hold ourselves. It creates the way we move in our life. So finding a way, your own way, it could be hypnotherapy, it could be psychotherapy, it could be physical therapy. It's a misnomer what I do. I'm called physical therapy. It's like, you can't box it into that. Very holistic, intuitive, wise women therapy. That's what we're into. That's what we're trying to do. And in that time, we're processing a birth. We're processing all of these things to release it, to move on to a higher level of health and care. So, routine physical therapy starting at 6 weeks postpartum, like in France. 10 appointments, physiotherapy appointments in France to rehab the pelvic floor, then 10 more for the abdomen to rehab. Those people are wearing size 2 jeans and holding their kids and crossing the street. Yeah, they're smoking cigarettes, but look it, they're wearing size 2 jeans. I mean, like, these people are rehabbing their body after birth. But anyway, let's just consider, in Germany, physiotherapy after childbirth. We deserve this. This, we've been ignored far too long. So, and if we intervene earlier, then we can preserve our pelvic floor, our organs, because the most endangered organ in our body is the uterus. It's the most removed organ in surgery. Because the doctors will say, you don't need that anymore. We're just gonna take that. Wait a second. I bet we can fix that earlier on, and we can. All right, so moving in to the arc of the night, the first part of the night, we did receive. We had you guys welcome to come through with all the table hosts to receive the offerings that they brought to you. My talk here is, we're moving into the sharing portion of things, and that is the releasing portion. And then after me, we'll go into Keisha's dancing, which is the reclaiming the groove. Reclaiming whatever you'd like to reclaim. But in order to move to the next level, what do we need to release? Right, that accumulation of stuff, of experience, of how do we get rid of it or claim it as ours? Like, I will claim that experience, but I also release it so I can move on. So there are a lot of things we need to release as we move into motherhood, parenthood, or motherhood. Just think of the things right now, the things that you had to release that you maybe were a little bit attached to before you had your baby. I know sleep's one of them. And maybe you're ramping up to having a baby, so it's good to hear this. But even if you're pregnant, you release your ability to have alcohol, there's all kinds of rules on you when you're pregnant. You all of a sudden have to be wearing a halo to be doing it right? Release perfection. When can we release perfection? That would be good. So, I just want you to take a minute right now to think about the stuff that we need to release, and that we have released, and just acknowledge what we've had to release. Right here. All of this, right? Beautiful beings that came into our body, or fertility difficulties. We're not in control of it all. I release control. Again and again and again and again. What do you need to release to move on? So I would love to pass around a microphone. And I would love for you to state something in clear sentences, like, I release the need to be perfect to love myself. It doesn't have to be that beautiful. Okay, that sounds really, okay, that's an intention. I'll start, because I have girls that are teenagers, and one is doing this over there. And I release the need to dictate your future. And I release the need to capture you at this moment, in this moment, and keep you young, because I really miss it when you're little. I really miss you. Because I had a baby, I had 2 babies, and they were little. And they keep growing. And it's beautiful, but it hurts every time. And I release you to keep moving into your highest potentials, whatever that means to you for your purposes. Okay. So I'm going to pass around this microphone. Do it your way. Who's ready?
I release the frustration with the medical model. And that I don't have to give up on making those changes.